All right, so here is your warm up today for 14 minutes or 14 days of quarantine. So that's a warm up for a 14-minute AMRAP that we've got. The first thing that you're going to do is just 10 air squats. And try to make them as perfect as possible. So we've got time here. Try to keep the feet as straight as possible. We don't want to point the toes out. They can point down a little bit, but when we're working on this stuff, definitely try and point them forward. Most likely you're going to be doing this somewhere at home. Even if you are outside, I want you to try and take your shoes off, okay? So you want to feel what your feet are doing. This is a great opportunity to work on the basics of our squat. The foot should be grounded. You should be able to wiggle the toes at all times, but you should feel the outside of the foot actually have some pressure down, okay? So when we have a squat here, I want to send the hips back like I'm reaching for an itty bitty chair behind me. The hips go back before the knees bend, okay? So if I start to bend those knees early, I'm going to put weight forward in the front of my foot. I want the weight to be anchored right here on the outsides of the foot, okay? So I want to press the hips back, press the knees out, okay? And try and get the hips all the way below the knee crease. If you've got something to hold on to, this is a great time to kind of figure that out. Maybe spend a little bit of time at the bottom, keeping the torso as upright as possible. Just working on 10 perfect squats. Next thing we've got is jump ropes or jumping jacks. So just like usual with the jumping jacks, all the way up, all the way down. If you're going to work on jump ropes, again, great time to work on basics. I want you to try and keep the rope close to your hip bones, okay? Try to keep those elbows in. A lot of times what we see is that elbows start to flare out and the arms get straight, or we really are moving the forearms around instead of the wrists. Jump rope is a wrist movement. So I've got a little bit of space here. So we're trying to just move with the wrists, okay? All right, next thing that we've got, eyes wise and T's. If you have some sort of a band, I would suggest using it. So what I've got here today is just a band that is not a loop, but it is like stretchy, okay? So that's what I'm gonna use. You can get, I think they got a bunch of these at like Walmart, stuff like that. Anything that you can find band-wise would be great. It's just good for rehab and good for your shoulders. So I'm gonna start straight up overhead. I'm gonna stretch out and down. We'll do that for 14, since we're doing 14 days of stuff. I don't think I have that. I'll change that number. It'll be 14, okay? Then you're gonna go out at a 45-degree angle, okay? So you're still above eye level, pulling out and down, squeezing the shoulder blades together and back, and then the same thing out in front. Turn your palms up this time, stretching out, squeezing the shoulder blades together, okay? If you don't have anything like that, that's also totally fine. You can get the same benefit by just moving your shoulders and really think about pulling down, squeezing. Imagine that you've got something that you're squeezing, doing all the same movements, okay? Then the very last thing that we've got is just a balance drill. So I'm gonna use my handy jar of flour that I had from yesterday. I wanna center the weight on one of the feet, okay? I'm gonna put the jar in my palm, I'm gonna press, I'm gonna switch, and I'm gonna press. This isn't really about what you're using, this is just about balance. Find a spot that's not moving, okay? So press, switch, press equals 1 rep. I want you to do 5, and then I want you to switch legs and do press, switch, press, 5 on the other side, okay? That is your warm-up for the 14-day quarantine.